And now we get to see if everything's working. There's a lot of noise today, so let's see. All right, there seems to be a lot of noise outside today, but it looks like we are actually broadcasting for once. The name is right and everything. Let's go ahead and edit the privacy because right now it says private. Don't know why.
Do you want me just to put the air on and close the windows?
Nope. All right, so I guess we are public now, I hope. I'll double check to make sure we're actually out there because the new streaming software, I don't have 100% what do you call it confidence that we're actually broadcasting or streaming unless I for sure can see that we are. um, yeah, let me just take a look. It looks like we are live, and as far as I can tell, yeah. Okay, we're going to be here in Plasticity today, and we're going to be making mechanimals, which is my word for mechanical animals. And I'm just going to be doing something kind of cool here. I have no idea what it is yet, so we're just going to make it and see what happens. So let's go ahead and get started with it. So let me just come over here. And first things first, I want to make, I don't know, some kind of bug leg. So we're going to go from the side here. This isn't a tutorial. This is just me yakking and talking. So I'm just going to make some type of bug leg. I'm going to start with that circle. I'm going to make a second one that kind of is a bit bigger here. And then we're going to, let's take a line like so. I'm going to take another one, and I'm just making, this as we go. No exact idea where what's going to happen and go, but I am liking this so far. Might be round, may not be. This is where all those decisions come in, though. And I'm just going to start pulling out shapes here. And this one will be free to come out farther. And I think let's just from the top here. And I'm just daydreaming. I'm just, what do you call it? Brainstorming, not daydreaming. We're going to center this buddy right there. I don't know why I called it a buddy. And we're going to center this piece here. And that looks pretty cool. I'm wondering if I should go ahead and put these together. I'm going to get rid of my curves for now. Turn off my X-ray so I can just kind of see what I'm doing. I know I'm probably going to chamfer all these edges. I'm just going to go ahead and get that done and push those in. If you guys have any comments or anything like that, please let me know. I'm going to make sure that I can see your comments. That's the wrong view, guys. Let's put that one on the other monitor over here. So sorry about that. Just get that over out of the way. Yeah, if you're watching, say hello. I'm going to make sure I see comments or anything else. And yeah, looking decent, interesting, etc. so far. Like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing with it just yet, but I'm thinking while this is still separated, I'm going to work on making this different. Let's go ahead and make this more sharp, like cut through. I'm going to just make a couple of lines to do that with. I'm just going to go from here to about there. I don't want to go all the way to the end. I'm going to Alt X that dude over so we can symmetrically make that cut. So from the top again, just going to grab this piece, C, cut, shift, cut, right click, and delete. So now we have this situation. Pretty interesting. And I think I'm going to probably curve or smooth this out. I'm going to use a fillet to kind of fill it up. No, I'm kidding. Just to smooth that bit right there. And I'm also thinking I'm just going to make this more interesting probably than I planned. Why not? This is just the tip of like a toe or leg or whatever. And this is just going to be, yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. So what I think I need to do is grab maybe all of this right here, just the outside edge, and I'm going to Shift D, duplicate that curve. Did I get this one? I did, but it wound up over here, oddly enough. So I'm going to grab it and snap it somehow to here. You can see it's off. So I'm going to take that particular piece, Alt X that, and flip it this way, delete the original, hopefully take this one and snap it to match these dudes. Got to figure out how to get that in there though. And yeah, some of these are swapped, as you can see. Let's undo that. Something happened with that curve and I don't know exactly why. Weird. Probably because I selected it that way now that I think about it. So we're going to select at an angle here so I can see that I'm getting everything on the one side. That's what I did. I selected from both sides like a dork. So with that, and you know what? I'm going to hide this round part so we can also select this as a full piece. And I'm going to duplicate that curve. And then I'm going to size that curve down if it will let me do what I want here. And we're going to take that and pull it out and try to snap it somewhere here. That may work. Let's find out. Let's try to grab this again and scale it again. I might just have to recreate it because this is looking a little strange. Let's not do that. So we're just going to grab that, delete that. We're going to recreate it from this inside. I think will be a little more safe. So with this still being our center, I'm going to create another line or curve there. And then I'm going to create a curve about here and about here. That way it still has a little bit of curve. We're going to do another one from here. Give it some curvature. That's looking kind of cool. And I'm going to go like so. And I think this guy on the top does he have any control points? Yes, he does. Just kind of want to pull these a little because they're not as curvy as I would like. Okay, making sure everything's still flat. That will be important. I'm going to take the curves though and move them out because right now they're kind of getting a little buried in the thing there. So there we go. And from the side here again, I'm going to make a circle. Could have used an arc, but I think a circle. Now let's use an arc. That is going to be here. 2 point. There's a tangent. There's a 3 point. Let's just try a 2 point circle and kind of go like so. Then we could trim all these bits off that we don't need, like that one and that one. You see we have this sort of nice thing happening here. And let's try to make a tangent 3 point arc, tangent arc here. I'm just going to go from here. Will that let me do it that way? I'm trying to remember how this is done. So the tangent arc, is it going to always curve in? No, it is not. That looks good. It's kind of tangent. Let's see again. Here. There we go. See, it tells you when it's tangent. Gotta love that kind of thing. See if we can go from here. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now what we're gonna do is snip away anything that we don't want. It's just going to be pretty much everything except for those center pieces. So this is gone, 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 and perfect. So now I am just going to take this piece once we join all these curves together. I think we have to join them. You don't always have to join them, but I think at this point it doesn't want to. They're probably not on the same flat plane as what it is. So there we go. We need to do that. I'm going to grab all of its points and we can scale this. And we're going to scale it this way until we get to 0, which should work. And it does not. Cool. All right. So how am I going to do this? Well, let's see if I can join any of these together. First of all, those did join. Those joined, I believe. Yep. I'm just going to join these one at a time so, there's no weird stuff going on. One of these is not going to join, I guarantee you, and it's why we were having the issue. But I don't guarantee you because I guess they all did join. So I'm going to try and take their points now, again, see if we can scale those flat. So basically in this dimension, we should be able to go to 0 and everything goes flat, which it does. So now we have a perfect plane that we can use to cut. You're like, wow, Sean, never knew that was possible. That's all right. You don't have to. I'm going to grab that guy. And actually what we're going to do is grab the face of this. We're going to say W and then hit that dude. Then pull this all the way through it and right click to accept and get rid of this curve. So now we have that, which is looking pretty dang good, I think, if I do say my dang self. And I'm trying to figure how I'm going to get a particular angle that I need for this. I could make a temporary construction plane on my own, I suppose. Yeah, I should be able to do that without a problem. So what I am going to do, just from the top here, I'm going to make a plane, so a square. It doesn't matter where it is because this is going to just be a construction plane we're going to use to kind of line up, how this is going to work. Let me know if you guys can hear me and everything's good. It's hard to tell sometimes if people are watching or enjoying it or not enjoying it. So just let me know. And looks good though. And let's see, what I'm going to do is take that particular curve and we can use it as a plane as well, I believe. But I'm going to grab it, pull it up to the angle and stuff that I want this to be on. Because I'm going to shoot a kind of a cutter of some kind, I think, down this way. I'm not really entirely sure that's how I'm going to do it yet, though. I want to create a shape that will carve into here, and I think it's probably better that maybe I do this a different way. Meaning I am going to hide that curve for the moment. So much noise outside here. I'm going to hide that curve. I'm going to leave our other shape hidden as well. Why is this not hiding? There we go. So now I'm going to create a curve, I think, that's going to mimic this other curve. And we just want that flat, so I can't copy that one. Well, per se, let's just mimic it by tracing over it, like so. And this will lock to that curve without a problem, but then I want to flatten that curve out, which it already is, which is that's nice that automatically does that. We're going to grab this. We're going to pull this out some just to make sure it's not intersecting or cause me a problem later. I'm going to grab it now and I'm going to move this down and probably maybe somewhere maybe like that. Okay, so my whole point here is I want to create a surface that's going to kind of create a scoop sort of cutout of this thing. So the best way to do so is going to create another version of this curve down a ways. I might have to lengthen this one too. I don't know yet. And then we're going to go and create a couple of guide curves. So this one is going to wind up moved over. So let's just kind of figure out where it's going to be. Somewhere about here-ish. This one is going to begin just under this probably. And that might be too much because I realize it's probably going to cut out, hit too much at this side. So I'm going to take this now because we can, and I'm going to angle this from this bottom point here to where it kind of comes out like so. This is insane, people. And I still think that was probably not a great idea to do that way. Okay, so what I meant to do is not that one, but this one. And we're going to rotate that one, but I'm going to use this pivot point and get that about here. And I think that will be okay. So now we need to create either a guide, maybe not a guide, but let's see if we can do it without the guide first. But I'm going to loft between these two, see what we get. That's going to be a pretty straight line. Let's see if we can get some tension there. No, we can't because we have no guide. So I'm going to go ahead and do the guide business. Let's go ahead and just kind of look at this from an angle that makes any sense. I'm going to make a straight point here, and now I'm going to insert some points to give me the ability to make this work like a curved guide, like so. And we're going to need to curve that out. How is that done now? There's no tension. Maybe I need the fall off. So proportional fall off, maybe not. That's not working. Cancel. I don't think I made this out of a curved either. So let's kill it, do it again. So I don't think that is a spline curve as I intended. And I'll just put a point in the middle of it, and then we can move that around. Imagine that. Okay, so from the side, that's not going to do that business. It's actually going to be essentially almost as straight as the rest, but it's going to bend outward. Got to turn on my X-ray. There we go. We can see that point now. And from this side, we're going to go the other way with these. No, we're going to go this way with that, and much more of a curve kind of from there. That works. And I think we do have to move this point now out. We're going to take this one and lock it to that one. So this is where it gets really weird, guys. So okay. I'm going to pull this one out just a little bit too. I'm making I'm trying to make a piece of a surface that we can use as a cutter here at some point. I think that's still a little too, what is this one for? Okay, that one's just for that curve. Got it. I think that's going to work pretty good. I think that's going to work once we get this, set up. This here, though, all of these, will need to be extended outward. And I don't know if this is the best way to be doing it or not, but I'm going to select all these and move them over, seeing if that is actually going to be what I want. At least those have to move somewhat this way to where they're not inside. We only want this guy to be inside. It's got to recess and cut that stuff. I hope any of this is making any sense to you guys whatsoever. It probably isn't. It barely is to me. Okay, so we'll go here. I'm going to make one here and one here. This will give us the bottom curve, which right now is not anywhere how it should be. So something inward like this to start with, and not like that toward the back. Yeah, it's really hard to get this kind of in three dimensions because it can get really screwy like this. But once it's there, like this will be, it can be amazing. So I'm just going to go with this. I'm going to try now to loft this and this, and then using these as my guides should give me that perfect curve that I'm looking for there, which is that's about right. So we're going to say okay. And with this piece, I am going to hide these curves because we don't need them at the moment. I'm not going to get rid of them in case I need to replicate this. Just trying to see what will cut and what will stay. Could probably be done with a little adjustment here on this dude, but I think overall it's all right. Let's just go with it. And so now what I'm going to do is take this part and extrude this outward to be a thicker material piece here, and then we're going to separate it from the other. And I don't think it was right, looking like it's not now that I look at it from here, but let's see what it winds up resulting in just to know. So I'm going to turn off my X-ray. We're going to go Q, take this away from it, and right click. And once we get rid of this lofted sheet, it's pretty cool. I'm going to just run with it. You know, it doesn't kill me. I like it either way. It's not what I 100% planned, but I think I will live with it because I still like it. All right, so we're just going to smooth out this until about here. And I like that. So now this side has not been done, but we have a cool trick that we can just take the entire thing, go Alt X, and mirror it this way. So now we have the perfect shape. And we have two halves here because I did not meld them together, but now I will, and we're good to go. And another cool thing is we can take this just to check and see if we have any redundant topology that can be removed, and looks like we're okay. All right, so let's bring back this piece that we left from the beginning here now. And I think I'm going to just kind of bevel this bottom edge slightly with a little bit of a fillet there. I'm going to go ahead and select these edges, see if we can get away with filleting a good amount of these. I'm going to see if I can do almost the whole thing here. It might say not too complex, but it might do it with no problem. So we're just going to pull those. Looks like we're in luck. And right click to accept. Perfect. I'm going to also see if we can just fillet these two, which will continue all the way around. It's actually better if you use the curves because they will be more willing to be contiguous. And let's just do it a little less than that. Something like this, I think works fine. And then maybe try, you know, these. I'm not really needing these to be accepted and done because this might actually kill, you know, the contiguousness of what we're trying to do, but it might work. So we're going to give that a go too. And yes, it does work, but we are getting this at the top, which we don't want. So I'm going to just kind of undo that piece and see if maybe we can also not include these guys. Turn on X-rays. We can actually select that and not include these either. And now try, with that one. See if these will wrap a little, which they seem to be doing very well. So good. Right click, accept, turn off my X-ray. And I am going to put just a slight fillet on these particular edges here, just to kind of give it that little bit of light catching ability. Something about like this. And now that looks good to me. All right, before I do anything else, I'm probably going to break this little piece up so I can put a kind of a rolling kind of hinge joint on that, which would be kind of nice. Let's find out. So let me entertain you. No, I'm going to make two triangles here. Not triangles, two squares. So let's turn off the main body here. Let's go ahead and save this real quick too, because I hate to lose stuff. Losing stuff kind of sucks. I'm just going to go up in here and I'm just going to call this, Mechanimal 1. Perfect. And I'm going to do a couple slices through here, trying to use this as kind of like a hinge joint, So we're going to just separate this into three parts. This is going to be like a double. And I have made stuff like this before. All right, so now with that middle line done, I'm going to try and midline these guys. So if that makes any sense, I'm going to go like so and like so, just so I know where my center line is on both these. But actually, you know what? Let me do it from the center line out like this. And let's do a Alt-X mirror that. Got to tell it which way. We're going to go like this. Now I have two separate pieces, and I know where the midline is between those. So very easily now, I can probably just get three lines. And here's the thing. If I'm going to do two pieces intersecting this, we cannot go with the mids of these unless this one's bigger than the outsides, which is okay. It's just kind of a stabilizing deal. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, I'm just doing this off the fly. I'm not measuring. I'm not deciding on a lot of things specifically. But see, we can snap to the midpoint of this easily, but I probably want to go on more of like a third-ish size of this. So I'm just going to go here. We're going to keep that portion, I think. Nope, let's make it smaller than that even. Because we want three kind of equal parts. So equal-ish parts, I should say. So I'm going to grab this one and move it over. It's where this is our space now. See? And then we're going to Alt-X that one over to here. There we go. So now we're going to get two cuts from these that run right through, and they'll be somewhat equal. So with that, let's go ahead and grab the curves, both of these. I'm going to pull these back. Right, click to accept. Look at it from the end here. And I'm going to grab the object. And we're going to say cut with this, and right click. So now when we get rid of what we want to get rid of, being this guy and this guy, we have these three rings. And now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all these curves. And then we can turn on our main object again, and we are set up like so. And this could have been solid right here. So that's what we'll do. I'm just going to make another cut from the side here. And normally I do this in a different way, but I'm really enjoying kind of the way this is going in this version. The method that, it's happening in is very cool. So that says see-through. I'm not really seeing through it very well though. And I'm going to go from this edge to right there. And I'm just going to kind of complete that. I'm just using a little bit of a curve to do that. And then this one can go from here to here to here. I'm just going to go like so. And making sure I'm accomplishing what I want to be. That's kind of chunky, but it's not going to be seen. I'm not really worried about it. Let's grab both these curves now. Move them out. I'm going to put them on the same plane of existence as each other. So I'm going to grab this one and just move it up to snap to the other guy. Let's just make sure it is, which it is. And we're going to use those as a cutter just for these outer two ring parts. So those will be here. Hopefully at the same time, we were going to cut using this dude and this dude. Right click. And that didn't work. So let's try one at a time. From here. Cut. Boom. Done. And there's a reason for this. And we're going to cut this one here. So cut and boom and done. And then we're going to do this one again. Cut using this. That doesn't want to let me, which is a little odd. And it could be because of that little thing. They might not be joined correctly. So delete that curve. And I'm going to remake it with a definite curved curve. All right, that should work. So now we're going to cut again this front one using that curve. Nope, it does not want to do it. I don't know why, because everything is correct on it. Let me just double check that my overlap's good. I'm going to grab that curve because it's probably not in line with itself, possibly. It probably has a curve to it. So I'm going to pull this out and scale it flat. It looks like it is scaled flat, so weird. And let's go ahead and try it again. Cut with this curve now. And it still says it doesn't want to. So what I'm going to do is move a point or two a little more kind of, I don't know, in line with where it might work a little better. That adjustment always helps. Cut, boom, and it still doesn't want to. We're going to try again, moving the line a little more, because this is not 100% imperative that is a curved. It could go up this way. So let's just try it that way. We're never gonna know or see this anyway, so I'm not worried about that. But let's try cut this object with this curve. It just does not want to do it. Weird. So I think what I'm going to wind up doing is grabbing these and putting them together as a single object. and see what happens. Those I'm going to leave separate because I have to do something to them. And then let's try and cutting this all the way through. Oh, which it won't because this doesn't go over the edge. That wasn't the problem earlier, but it definitely is now. Let's just pull this out where it does come over. And hopefully I'm doing the right thing here. Ammo cut and cut and cut and B. It does not want to do it. It's because it's not cutting all the way through now. That's what the problem was before as well. Because this doesn't really consider this, I guess, empty space. Or in just one side of an object. So that's cool. We will go back from the side. Just trying to work this out. I'm going to pull this all the way through. We're going to add a new point here. Kind of completes what I want it to. I hope. And now, believe it or not, maybe this should work. Cut using that curve. And it does. So all of that, let me just get rid of the curves now. And I hope this is what I needed to do now that I've gotten so lost in the doing of it. I'm just trying to extend this face under here over to close this gap. And I don't think I did that right because now we don't have a split right from this corner down. So pain in the booty. Let me do this again. I'm going to undo our nifty cut situation here. And let's undo the cut. I'm going to take this, though, and pull it through the other way. This does not need to be that way. It needs to be right through there. Okay, so with that, we will do it one more time. Take this, cut with this, right click. Hopefully now we're good. So now I'm going to get rid of these curves. This will all get melded back together. All those cuts will not stay. They are ugly. I fully realize that. So this now, we're going to grab this face right here. And this will get shoved over into the deal, as will this one. Right, click to be done with that. And then we're going to take all these pieces. And that should, let me just double check that we're doing what I want. I think that's all correct. So I'm going to grab these pieces. All the Reese's parts. Can't say that it can on the air. And I'm going to QQ those together. And now they are one again. We're going to go and delete our redundant topology because, you know, we must. And I think that's what I want. The outsides are perfect. The insides I'm not going to 1000% worry about, but we do want to chamfer those one at a time, most likely. A little bigger, a little smaller isn't going to hurt anything. We just want to create some kind of like separation, like a joint would be, you know, when those fingers of the joint sort of comb together. We're never going to see that. This, though, that edge is pure junk, so I'm going to try and fix that one and this one. So it will not do that, but it will chamfer. So I'm just going to pull it a slight bit. And I think what I'm going to do, because that is not really going to be functional, is I'm going to pull these guys back in, if it will let me. Dang it, it's not letting me. All right, so maybe an extrude instead of an offset. We will find out. Undo that. We want this to be, so extrude. We want this to be union, so we're going to hit Q. That way these will just make a new piece as they come in. Right click, and those are much better. And I'm just going to clean up the topology again. I think overall that's pretty good. We could pull these dudes up here as well. I might or might not need to pull up this face. So we'll just try that. It'll only go up so far. Right click. Let's take these now as a separate because it might include the other. Yep. And let's just kind of do this. So now we can, I'm going to make a cool groove that comes down through here. Let me know what you guys think if you're watching. Hey, what's up, Slothcat? Yeah, let me know if, what you guys think so far. I'm just making something I think is kind of cool. I think that is all good for the moment. Don't want to weaken it too much. In that regard, I might soften that turn right here. Just flexing that out a little bit. Yeah, that's all right. And then, of course, got to do these dudes. Something like that. If it'll let me, yep. That works for me. And overall, I think that's pretty good. I was thinking, though, let's delete this redundant topology first and foremost, though, if we can. No, it got some, but perfect. And now I'm going to probably, I think I'm putting some kind of a groove here or a ridge. I think might be kind of neat that just sort of comes off. It cannot be part of this because that has to rotate inside. But let's use this as a temporary construction plane and draw a curve. Something like, I'm just going to go here, hit my shift key, gives me a temporary line there. And then I can sort of come over, go here, shift key, boom, and that works. Okay, back to my plane here, and I think I'm going to go with a curve of some kind, kind of coming down like so. Right click to confirm, get this guy here, snap it to the middle if it will allow. Okay, it's snapping automatically. That's good. Right click. Cool. And then I will take these two pieces, Alt X those over this way. Right click. We have now a plane. And then I'm going to move that. I'm going to put it all together first. Join these. And I'm going to join. Ooh, they don't want to, but at least I can grab them and move them from the side here. And I'm just going to pull that out to about there. I think that's kind of okay. It's going to be ugly at first because I have to do something and then I won't make it pretty. So we'll do this. This is going to be an extrude, but we are going to do this as a union. So I'm going to say Q and then pull that in there. But you know what? I can do that. But let's not do this real quick. I'm going to pull that into there as a new body, actually. So B, and I'll pull this down to where we are meeting up here. And then now from the side, I will create a cut line based on that curve. I don't even have to do that. I can just come in with a simple curve and just sort of go from here, 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 and so on, because it doesn't matter. We're going to grab that object, cut it using this curve. And did it work? Yes, it did. So we delete. Then we don't have that problem. And now from this same side, get rid of these other curves we've got that are unnecessary. And I'm going to make another kind of simple curve that comes down like so. Whoops. Here, here, and all the way through to about there. And so when I grab the object and cut it with that one, we'll have a pretty cool sort of ridge happening there. Get rid of that curve. I'm going to go ahead and stick these parts together. So we're going to select them QQ and good to go. And now, of course, little edge work. But before we do that, I'm gonna push this in some. And you know, I can also possibly, I don't know if it'll work on a curved plane like that, but I can also come in and do a what's it called, a draft face, which is here and sort of based on here. Okay, fine. Let's go this face being drafted now, and I can come in here and just go DR and see if it'll let me do it from here. And whoa, that's the face that I don't want to select. So we'll do it again. Draft face, and we'll do this face and try. There we go. That's what I wanted. It's gonna slant that out just a little bit. I think it's nicer that way for sure. And when that's done, we can come over to the whole piece here now. Alt X that from here to there. Make sure we union the halves together and say OK. And then, of course, go in and delete all of our redundant topology if there is any. So, pow, right click. I guess we need that line. Excellent. And so now I'm going to grab, maybe if it'll let me do with the face. And we're going to create a offset curve here. Let's see if it'll let me go inward, which it totally does, like I needed. Perfect. And then we can just offset this one like that. Perfectly good to go. Yep. And I want to round out these corners like that a little. And then possibly the inners, we can at least chamfer those. If we're not going to see them much, I'm not worried about rounding them because it takes more polys in the end. But, you know, something maybe like this. We could probably put a cable of some kind with a jack on it, you know, coming into that toe to control it, you know. So, yes, a little insect stuff today. So, I'm going to leave that open for now. Not sure what I'm going to do. This, I'm going to probably chamfer this whole entire end here. So we'll just push that till it breaks. Maybe that. It's not horrible. It's not great. I think it works though. And this will be the tip of 1 foot. If we wanted to, we could even duplicate this curve, move that down a bit. Now I realize that's going to be inside the piece. Got to be kind of careful how I'm doing this now. You know what? I am not going to do that for now. I'll do something for that later once I decide what that's really going to need. And I think for now, I'm going to chamfer this guy and possibly even pull those faces down because those should be a little farther away from that wall anyway. Yeah, okay. Works for me. Let's do a tiny fillet It's going to be my new band name, Tiny Fillet. We only do the music of Don Ho. All right. Tiny Fillet. Nobody got that, did they? Okay. Perfect. In the wine. All right. So I'm going to leave that unfilleted because I kind of like that. That looks a little mechanically built. And that works for me. Cool. So let's start going more up the leg. That's what he said. So I'm just going to go like so. Before I make a pin, I'm going to probably go ahead and make this next section. And I'm thinking possibly of kind of coming up with a bend, sort of a bend, and then another kind of curved section as well, probably. Who knows? It's mine. I do what I want. All right, so let's just take a circle, center circle, of course. Yes, insectoid design. Good eye, good eye. There's also the title, I guess, right? No, I guess it didn't say insectoid, did it? Okay, so that one's going to go to that outside. It's going to be based on these dudes here. And so will a center circle that's going to go through those. And something smells really good outside. And then I'm going to grab just something. Let's just make this guy pretty good size. Kind of like so. Do something similar. I will cut this in a much more interesting shape shortly. I'm sure you guys are like, yeah, good, because no thanks. So use a 2-point circle here. So from here to there. And probably should have made that one a little more tangent. Oh, I see. Okay, so we just need to move this point, or line, as it were, to be in the plane, as well as this. These all should have been done that way from the beginning. I could have just zeroed them out, scaled them, but I like to do things the difficult, long way. It's the journey that counts, right? No, it's not. It's time saving so you can have more fun with life. Okay, with that. That looks okay. And now I need to make sure that I've got my pieces happening here. And I might go about this an interesting way and grab all these curves and move them over. I'm leaving that inner circle curve because it's going to be used. And I'm going to grab this actually and snap this over to in here. Right now people are saying, yeah, that's how I would have done it. And I'm going to make sure these all come out. Okay. What are we doing for dinner, by the way?
I gotta check the chicken. If it's not thawed out, we'll have to have leftover spaghetti.
Okay. Okay, so that's going to go to here. And then now I can drill that hole through there in a bit. And there. And I'm going to make a dual, joined piece within this. So I'm going to hide these curves just to keep from being distracted by them. And I am only, and actually I'm not going to hide those curves completely. I'm going to grab just this central section here. Let's undo all of them actually, or make them visible. And I think going to only pull this part across. Yeah, that'll work. To this ridge there. Then we're going to duplicate this piece and snap it to fit inside that other area. If I can find the center of it, just going to check all that out. I think that's it. And if not, we'll make it be it. Okay, that looks good to me so far. If we wanted to, we could also widen that out to fit over these, but I don't think we should. I'm going to hide the curves again. And I'm going to join all these parts. And I'm going to look with our x-ray just to make sure. And I'm also going to hide the foot that we created earlier. If I can figure out where it is. There we go. It'd be this one. And yeah, that's exactly what we want. So QQ, right click, and those are there. Let's go in and make sure we remove any of the redundant topology, which darn it, I wish we could have gotten rid of those lines, but it's okay if we didn't. I'm not sure why it's showing. I see. Yeah, that is what we wanted. So then I'm going to go in with these edges here and hopefully be able to soften these down. And we cannot. My favorite thing in the world when I can't do what I want. Okay, so what we're going to have to do I don't know if we could rebuild those or what we can do, but that needs to be managed. That cannot stay that way. So I am going to have to cut or raise those. I will think about this for a bit. So instead of gluing all those together yet, I want them in 3 pieces. Let me make sure they still are now. Yep, we have 3 pieces. Now I'm going to take that central section and do this to it because that is the much better way of handling this. We're going to pull those down. Now we've got some freer rotation at that. Do the same thing on this other end because, you know, it's pure genius right here. Thank you very much. And close enough. Got a little socket going on there. Let me know if you guys like what I'm doing. I'm going to take these and round those out because I don't want that feeling odd, like it was pieced together. I want that to look somewhat like some of it is, you know, somewhat milled, right? How you been doing there, Ednardo? And Ewell, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Slavcat, of course. We're just making bug parts. Pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm going to make the holes here. I think I'm actually going to put these back together. I could make the legs even more interesting by making this piece either more inner or more outer. Let's just see what I mean by that. Like if I pulled this up a bit, I don't know, maybe if I push that more in a bit. You know what I mean? I think that looks pretty cool. Let's just do that. These can push farther in. Now it's a multi-layer, kind of a laminated looking piece that could be a separate piece, but I think I'm going to make these one for now. I think that's looking pretty spiffy. I do need to cut these holes so that we can have some pins. So let's look at this from the side. It does not look like, I think that, yeah, that's all just the same size. That's why. So we're just going to cut a hole directly through. I like to make the hole even though I'm not going to see it, because then I can chamfer edges and stuff, and maybe we'll see that, right? Or if a pin falls out, if I want it to be deconstructed, it could work. So I'm going to make a circle out to here. I'm going to grab it and move it inward. I think that will be okay. And then we're going to extrude this as a cylinder. I know a lot of people have this tendency to want to put a sphere in there, and that's fine, but it's going to be big and bulgy, and then you have to scale it. I mean, you could do it either way. I tend to like these weird flat kind of bolt head type, joints like that where you have this big flat spot on it. I don't know why. It just looks kind of cool to me. Now, this is where I decide if I want this to be just a pin like this, or if I need this to be taken apart. And if I did, I'd put some kind of ridging on here, for the person to kind of grab. You could also put a slot in here, like a a flathead screwdriver, because I want these things to feel a little like maybe they were made at the turn of the century, brass and so forth. So it might be kind of cool to do this as with a slot, like a screwdriver slot in there. So let me see. I don't think I made it. Nope, I guess I didn't. Thought I did. I didn't click though, I guess. So we'll just do this again. Get it about yay big. Looks right. And then take the face, go W, click on that foot, pull this in there just enough. And I don't think it worked. Nope, it did not. So I'm going to grab my curve and move it farther out. Sometimes it doesn't register because it's right on the surface. I don't know if anybody else has had that problem, but so I go here. We're going to go, that's extrude. So I'm going to hit W. I'm going to grab that or hit that, select it, etc., whatever the words are. We're going to go through to there, right click, and Bob's your ant in address. Here we go. We're going to take that out. And I'm gonna chamfer this a little bit, or at least could chamfer it, could do the other. Let's go ahead and do the other, not that. I just want these. I'm going to turn off the X-ray because it tends to over select. And I'm just going to fillet these real slight. Gives us that sort of feel that it's small, but it has a little bit of, a rounding to it. I'm going to do something that's completely unheard of and offset the rotation of this a little bit to where it feels like it, was not perfectly screwed together. It's not like manufactured completely at horizontal level, right? Oh, Blender is so much better now. They're about to release 4.4, probably in a day or two. And it is wonderful. It really is. I love sculpting in Blender, but I sculpt mostly in ZBrush, but sculpting in Blender is almost the same at this point, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to duplicate this guy. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to Alt-X that guy and flip it over mirrored. There we go. And then we can take this one and rotate it a little weird to where, maybe it's not at the same rotation as the other. And I think that looks much better. Eventually I'm going to get some screws or something going on in here, but let's go up the leg here, as he said, and try to figure out what's next. Now, I do want to make sure, I think I did Did I, though? Pretty sure that I did drill a hole there. I did not. Okay, so easy enough to fix. Sometimes I forget I'm going to hide that piece and this dude here. I'm going to get rid of all these curves and such. And luckily, we don't even have to have anything on because it still knows where our center is, which is such an amazing thing that I just can't say enough about the program. Let me escape that because I do need that foot on now that I think for that particular circle there because I don't know where it is otherwise. So we're just going to snap that to here. Now I can turn that foot bag off. And foot bag is what it sounded like I said. And then I'm going to grab that face. We're going to say W, grab the leg, pull that all the way through. Now we have that done as it should be. Get rid of my circle and turn our parts back on. And I know you'll never see that that is there, but it's nice to know that if we did, or if I took the thing apart or any of that, that it would be correct. I'm also seeing an odd line right there, and I think it's from the edge of this guy. So to remedy that, it's very simple. I can turn our foot off one more time and just sort of make these a tad bit smaller, just like a hair. And that didn't work. Cool. So, love it when that happens. So another way too is to take this possibly and extrude instead of offset. And does that work for it? Let's double check with this being on and see. We see that much better now. It doesn't stick out and look weird. Cool. And when these rotate, you know, they're going to be quite cool. I'm just going to show you a temporary rotation of the foot. Granted that we're not animating in here, but I can come in here and test, you know, how it's going to work by going R, V, sticking that at the center where I will want this to rotate. And then we can, of course, test the rotation like so, making sure everything clears. It's not going to be able to move farther than this, but it's mostly meant for this anyway, as you can see. So, cool. Let's undo any of that. You get the idea. Okay, so here on the legs, there needs to be a sort of mechanism. Probably going to be on the underside for protective reasons. That's going to act kind of like a piston or something, I think. Also, let's go ahead for the sake of just making our pain less later and kind of, well, instead of doing that, let me copy this curve down here. And so easy to do this. You just grab curves and I can say, hey, you, Control D, and now I can move this new curve the exact size that I want all the way up to here. And not only that, I can hold Control and snap it right to where it needs to be. So easy. So with that, we'll do the same thing here as we did down there. W, select, and pull this through. And now this end is ready to go as well. Cool. All right, so let's see. There is going to be another leg section up here. I don't know if it's going to be the same size. I do want to chop this one up a bit because it looks a little too, that's a bit chunky looking for me, and we all know I don't like chunky. So I'm going to create another circle here that kind of mimics that curve a little bit, even though it's larger. I think. No, let's make it the same. Right here, it's going to expand from that outward. And I think I am too far out now. Yep. So we're going to do it while I'm closer to be more precision. There we go. And now I'm going to make a curve. Let's actually do a tangent circle or tangent arc like this from about where I want to be, like this. to probably, yeah, see, that's putting it in the other direction, which I don't care for. So we're going to do it from about here. Oh, man. Turn on our X-ray vision. Once again, I'm going to go from here, and it doesn't want to do it unless I have something else. So that's cool. We'll make the line first. So this will need to be something from here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with this particular portion, but I'm going to select like so. Probably make a line that just comes out from here like this for now. Okay, we're going to take those two curves, put them together if they will join because they're on the same plane. Yes, and yes, I think so. And now we're going to go ahead and do that tangent curve from here to where it is tangent and right click. We'll do another one from here to here where it says tangent and right click. Good enough. And now we're going to remove any of these bits we don't want, as in this and these two. And it looks like I'm going to join this, this, and this, and this. And possibly that. See if I can. Okay, that's not going to work, but I figured as much. We need to make I do need to somehow join these two. So I'm going to grab this and this, pull them out for the moment. Make sure they are in fact touching. Try to join them here. I don't know if they will. Let's see, join. They will not. What I'm trying to do is use this circle without any of this part. So I think what I'm going to have to do is cut this dude. I don't use this command a lot. We're going to go to make a curve just from about that tangent point or so, like this, to cut this circle. And we got to go into here and grab our cut curve. Let's raise cut curve. I'm going to select the curve I want to cut. Right click it. I should be left now with a separate piece, which it doesn't look like I am. It cut the other curve, which is hilarious. So let's undo that real quick. And I want to cut this curve. So we're going to go back in with cut curve and select this curve to cut with. Right click, and now we're good. So I'm going to delete that curve, and this curve, and we should be able to snip this. That's all I wanted. Okay, cool. So now, sometimes it's a little more convoluted, than I'd rather it be. Join these guys together. And now we're going to take this box and we're going to cut it using this dude. And that did not work. Go and make sure we are selected properly. I don't know why this thing looks so off. Let me just make sure these are not. They look perfectly on to me. That was a weird angle for it to try and cut at. So cut using this. There we go. And we are golden. So we're just going to grab this piece and delete it. And our curve, which I might see if I can reverse. So let's go ahead and with that curve selected, Alt X, and go down here. Just gonna have to go find it. Grab that and pull it up rotate it to where it does the approximate same thing as that one did. Let's get this closer to find out. So it's going to be about there. And it needs to be rotated a little bit more than that. The way I want to rotate this, though, is around this center. So if I say move, okay, whatever, and rotate, and then go V and click the center of this, then we can hopefully rotate this properly, which we can, of course, right here. Exactly like that. It's amazing the little tricks that you find, you know what I mean? Pretty easy. I mean, the crossover, it wasn't hard at all. I did a bunch of tutorials. It's just like one tool at a time tutorials with a guy that I'll send you a link if you want, called, what is his name? Of course, I'm going to forget it while you're asking. He's got the little puppet. Anyway, if you look up Plasticity tutorials and you see the guy with the puppet, it's him, and it goes yum yum and all this stuff. But yeah, check out that dude. I'll try and message me or something like that, and I'll try to get you that name. It's really good. Trust me, I love working in this program. It's so much better for hard service than Blender. Hard service stuff. For hard surface stuff, I'd still use. For organic, I would still use Blender / mostly ZBrush. That's just my go-to. But yeah, you get the idea, I hope. Okay, so we need to extend this little curve down real quick, just a little bit more because it's not quite long enough off the edge. That will work there. And yeah, it's simple. The hardest thing I had to remember was right-clicking to accept stuff once you did it. So it like activates the tool because you want to be able to move stuff around, not have it trying to hack it apart while you do that. So I hit C. That's just a shortcut for cut. I click on the curve, and then now it's cut through, but I will not accept it unless I either hit OK down here or right-click on my mouse. And that's the hardest thing to remember. Once I'm done there, I just delete it and I'm good to go. Simple stuff. So I find it ridiculously easy to work with. And you see I have this nice notch here now because I had that there, and kind of a cool a lot of happy accidents, trust me. I'm going to curve these little bits, I think, just a little. And I might even carve out some of this now again from the back. And you say, well, so much has been done. Can you do that? Oh, man, at any time you can kind of go in because that whole surface modeling stuff is amazing. It's essentially NURBS modeling. It's not X NURBS, which is a more advanced thing. But yes, it is super cool and easy. And look, I'm just going to take this. You don't even have to worry about the other objects because it's not going to cut those because they're not selected, But once I have this and just kind of going up in just this plane, I'm going to duplicate that curve now. And this is cool because it's a lot like if you've ever used box cutter and hard ops, it's very similar but faster, so much faster and less confusing. Alt X, and I just come up and say, yep, flip it over from here. That's kind of a box cutter and hard ops thing. And once those lines are done, from this angle, of course, I can go and select my object, say C for cut, grab this and shift select the other one and right click. Now I've got my 3 objects again, get rid of these dudes. And now I can come in, and this is the beautiful part. As long as it doesn't fail out while I'm saying it, and I'm sure it will because I'm talking about it. But you can run in here, and this is probably going to have a oh no, it didn't. So I can do this business and come in here again, do the same here. There we go. Can't go too far on some of those corners. And then I can take that face that I was trying to affect and just either push that one in or both of these in now, which I find that's so cool that I can do that. Yeah. And then you grab this guy and do it from this side now, or should be both of these. Making sure I'm not screwing up the entire model, but yeah, check it out how it just adapts, you know what I mean, to whatever it needs to. And grab this one now and say, no, that one needs to also be in. So I'm going to undo. And so there's two little bits here, which that's what I was having a problem with. And actually, you have to probably use this one now because it was those two. And there we go. Just push that in. And then if I wanted to, we can round those off. So easy. And I'm not even, there's no sweat broken here. Super, super simple. And if I want to put those pieces back together, I can now, or I can wait until, after the fact. And what's cool here too is you see I've got that object selected with my X-ray turned on from the side. You see that particular curve I really like. So I'm going to grab that curve here, the whole thing, boom, right there. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to slide this out, hold control, and snap it onto the same surface level. Oh, didn't grab the whole thing, did it? Okay, I see what I've done. So I'm going to just grab it, moved it out here so I can put it back together. I've obviously grabbed more than what I wanted. So let me just delete that. Okay, now I can grab this curve, G for move, and move it here, and control, click it right onto that surface. I could cut through that. I could make it pop out. Just, like a panel. And I think what I'm going to do, what should I do? Should I cut through? I think I'm going to cut through because I like that skeletonized kind of look. I think. But I'm going to not do what I've got going on here on the bottom. So I'm going to grab the points. I think if it'll let me do that way, like so. Grab these directly from the side, of course. Pull these. They won't. So let's try to move these then by themselves. Probably won't as well because they're all kind of locked into space there. That's totally cool because I can still do what I want to with this. I'm going to, and I don't want to cut that all the way through because then it'll cut out this part. So what I want to do, yeah, you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and make this manually though. I just realized I'm going to not do this way because it will wind up cutting out too much of the inside. So I'm going to make another one, but make it smaller than that one. If that makes sense. Or I could push this partially in. That's what I'm going to do. Take this, push it partially in. So I'm going to go W, select this dude, push this partially into extrude it in a little bit just to give it a recess that matches this. Then I'm going to make a cut through of that. So let's go ahead and take that curve off. Matter of fact, now I can come back around this side. We can take this dude and just delete that one completely. Take this guy, Alt exit, flip it to the other side, and now we have that nice detail on both sides. Very easy and very quick, you know what I'm saying? So getting a lot of views on this video. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Because I need lots of watch hours, I guess they say. Okay, so with that now, I'm gonna make a new cutout piece of this real simply by going and grabbing me a center circle here, making it even larger than that one is because this will form the end of that. I'm going to grab a curve where we're going to be cutting or what we're going to be cutting with. And I'm going to make maybe just a piece that is here. And I'm going to make another one that comes from here. Do the same curve on the inside here to match this side as much as possible. Good enough. And I'm going to make a 2-point circle here, right here, that goes to here. And now we can trim out this part. We're going to make another 2-point circle. I could have done an arc. These are going to be arcs, actually. So let's just grab a tangent arc and come from about here till we hit a tangent point. Do the same thing again here from about here until we find that tangent, and good to go. And actually, is that what I wanted to do? Yes, it is. So now we should be able to snip this away and this away. And we have what we're left with is the part we're going to make that hole with. I'm going to see if there's a way that I could flip it down. I don't know if I want to because I'm thinking I'm going to put some kind of mechanic here or here. So yeah, let me go ahead and duplicate it just for the fact that I can for now. Let's just get all these little curves. Don't forget the tiny ones, right? And we're going to join those. Those won't join, so that's cool. Are they on the same level? They are. So there's something else going on with those that won't let them join. We'll have to join them one at a time, which I think I've shown you guys sometimes you have to do. So with that selected off there, I think I'm going to get these three, see if those will join. Those will. One more, join, those do. This and join, those do. And let's see if this one will, and it will not. So that is our problem child. Bless you. Let's go here and see why, and I can already see why. There's an overlapping line here. So we're just going to grab our points, take this dude, and control click that onto here. It will work now. So I'm just going to grab that bit, grab the entire curve, or grab the curves. This one and this one, it should now join. There we go, no problem. And I'm going to duplicate that curve. And a matter of fact, I think I'm going to, we're going to have to mirror that curve. So Alt-X. And I'm going to Alt-X it from somewhere around the center of this. And you can do that by clicking F for freestyle and saying, hey, do it around this part about here. Let me just try and make that a little more precise. There we go. Right click, and now I can grab it and move it up some, twist it however we need. I'm going to make sure that, we're going to need to revolve that, rotate that again a little. And it's approximately the same distance as what I'm trying to get as the other one is from that side. Just something that looks similar. Grab that one, move it up a little more there. Something kind of like this. Let me know if you think it's cool. All right. Excellent. So now with those, we can take our object that, in my opinion, this could and should be melded together, as I say. So we're just going to Q that together. And now we can take these curves and cut through the main piece. So we're just going to go from this angle, cut there, shift select, and there, and right click. And now we can just delete. And we have our skeletonized leg. You can do some parametric measurement. It's one of those things that I don't know if you could go back and do the measurement. It's something I'm trying to find out. I haven't spent time to find it out yet because I love Fusion 360 for that. But in here, you can do the measurements definitely as you make the pieces. That's not a problem. There is a measure tool right here. Let's see if I can do anything about that. Measure here to, let's say, here. It gives you the measurement. Let me see if there's a way to click into it, which I don't know if there is for sure. Now you can go plane from selection. You should be able to click into that measurement. Tab maybe, no. I can't click on it. So I'm not sure. Those might just be screen measurements. It's something I do have to to look into. So if you find out, let me know. But it's handy for measuring, but I don't know about the change it after the fact by adjusting the measuring numbers. You can with the sketches, kind of like you can in other CAD software, but changing the actual faces based on typing the numbers in after the fact, I'm not exactly sure if you can. So something definitely for me to look into. So let me get rid of that tool. I want to click on these curves here. Don't know if I can do all four, but if I can, it's not going to hurt my feelings. And I'm going to give those a little bit of that business, which looks good. Can do the same here. I believe it'll do the entire side. Let's go with a little bit around just there. Not a lot. I don't want it to make it look soft. And we're going to do this and this and this and this now. I mean, look how many, made a liar out of me just as I was going to say it. I was going to say, look how many of these things I can do at once. No, that one is an inner and outer. These are all outers, so that probably work fine. And they do not. Cool. So let's just do the one side. See if that will work for us. It may not because of this split on the inside is different, but I think it does work here. So now we can go in. It's because we have that piece as well. So if we were to select this entire side on that piece, it should now work on that inside, and it does not. Cool. So one side at a time. We can do the inside and outside. I know that for sure. Wow, make a liar out of me at 5 times in a row. You believe this? So let me just undo some of that. We'll just pull this one solo. Solo, we don't know it's been done. This one is going to need both these. And this might be a result of the fact that there's a step probably there. Looks like maybe. I'm going to see, though, if we can get away with this. Nope. So that one's going to have to be adjusted. And it might be because this face is higher than that face. And the way you would remedy that, push this down and then try to snap it to the other. I guess that won't work either. So sometimes there are limits, but that's with any of the CAD software. I'm going to do this. Supposedly you can tap on another edge and it will accept it, but let's go this and see. Shift tap on that and it doesn't work, but I'm just going to pull this here at least and get this one and right click. And now we can do the same here. Get this one on the inside. We can right click that one. We'll have to get these two separate here. I believe we can still do this. And that, mostly works. That is not perfection, but keep in mind, this is for stuff like movies, games, and that kind of modeling. So it's not about, I'm not going to be making surgical instruments with it or something like that. So I'm not really worried about, hair precision per se, even though it'd be nice just the same. And yes, the measuring, there are many tools you can do that with. I believe you can in this. I do. I need it because I do a lot of 3D printing, right? But I haven't tried to do it in here yet. To answer your question 7 times in a row. Okay, so I'm going to chamfer these dudes in. These need a chamfer here. Do one at a time. Evidently. Nope, we need to do, probably this is what's messing me up. So I'm going to try and get this whole edge. And it probably won't work because of that fillet we have on it. Oh, look, it's going to do it. Cool. And we're going to do this one the same way. Select everything. That should work as the other one did. Okay, there we go. And we will need a little round here. If it will let me. Now you can delete fillets, which is something I thought was cool, only on certain faces or certain ways. But I can go in here, hit that, and delete it, and it will go away, which is rare in other CAD software that I have used. So can be happy about that one, if nothing else. Okay, so I'm just going to chamfer these in if it will let me, or fill it in if it'll let me, and it will not. Too many faces, so let's just try to chamfer this one in. Gosh, that's being a real bugger, but I'm just trying to get enough of a chamfer to, you can see that it's been separated. This one should let me go, possibly with this one as well. Yep, perfect. And then these maybe will let me round these out all in one go. Just a small round, and that works. Let's do the other side. We already did. Of course we did. All right, cool. So there is that. Now I'm thinking about doing something kind of mechanical here, because I want this foot. This is a surface here that we're going to attach something to that allows it to be pulled up to flip that down. It's a pretty standard lever principle in mechanics, if y'all don't know that. And let me go ahead and hide a couple of objects here, like this one for sure. I almost hit delete. We don't want to be doing that. So hide these. I don't know if I needed to hide those. Okay. What I mainly need to worry about, though, is just where this attaches and what it is. So from that front, this is going to have essentially a toe. This is like your, well, not the thumb, but like the dew claw on a cat type of situation, where it's a little nub that sticks out that a tendon essentially can pull on. So we don't need to make it large or anything. It just depends on how, obvious I want to be about it. It's going to pull from somewhere, probably in this vicinity. So I'm going to make that probably with it's going to make it kind of a rectangle, I suppose, for now. Let's just use a corner drag dude, something along these lines. Does not have to be too big. This is probably even bigger than I need. And we're going to add a circle to the end of that. Let's get a 2-point circle. It's like, what am I doing here? All right, there we go. Right click it. And I am going to, we can make that a little more cool and shapely in a second. From the side, though, let's take the whole thing. Let's get rid of that. Those internal lines that we don't need, like this. Join our, and you don't always have to join these, but oops, I like to do that sometimes, Make sure they're good to go. Rotate. Let's kind of stick this dude somewhere that makes sense. I think a little about like this would be good, because it's going to rotate inward. This is going to turn, and that's going to pull that way. I'm trying to, it probably does need to be rotated. I'm pretty much a 90 like this. So let's just grab this now, see how much of that's going to stick out. That's not bad. Keeping kind of trying to keep a little bit of low profile. Grab it and pull it to this level there. Okay, let's make it a little fancier by adding a little bit of curve in here to maybe like that. We should be able to cut using that. I think that's probably, well, I was going to say it's probably not the same level, but I think it is. Let's just see. Good to go. So all that can be cut. We can just expand that. Now, just kill this. Now we're going to go and do the other side the same way, approximately. So right from here, just give us a bit of curve in and back out again. You know, somewhat close. That's good enough for me. Bobby McGee, anyway. And so then we can delete this, not that curve, but we can cut, snip that. Then we can take the curves, all three. I'm going to fill it by going down to, well, let's join them first, and then we can come down here and fill it these curves. They won't let me because I probably don't have all of them selected. So let's turn off our little toe bit here. I'm going to hide all this. We're going to grab this and this and join those. Maybe you can fill it now. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? All right. Let's just go here and find fillet, which it still doesn't want me to do. We have to go into point mode. That's why. Grab the points we want to fillet, which I think I only need those. Now fillet them. Yay! We're going to pull these outward for a more smooth look. We can even do these guys as well. And B is the shortcut for that. I was trying to remember and I could not. Okay, so with that, let's turn our stuff back on. See what's going on here. I think that's okay. It doesn't need to be all blended in yet. Maybe not even at all. We're going to take one more circle here, approximately in the center of that. Perfect. And I think we're good to go ahead and extrude this out. So we're going to extrude it to this line about here. So we're going to take that, pull it over, and you know what? I'm going to snap it to this one. Let me do that. In fact, let's grab the curves, move them over to where we won't have to worry about this later. I'm going to snap it to this higher curve there. Now we can extrude this out to that higher curve there. I think that works a bit better. And let's delete our curves. We can shape this in any other way we want to after the fact, but I think that works pretty nice. You know, and I'm going to be kind of overly worried about this and hide this little piece. And I know this is going to wind up, oh, it doesn't come through. Okay, we're good. So we'll unhide those. They will not be a problem. And I'm going to take this one and join it with our actual toe. Looking good. So if we want, we can come in, angle stuff out like I usually do, a little bit of a chamfer around these openings, and then a little bit of a fillet on these edges here maybe. Just a slight one, that's way too much, so maybe there. Yeah, you could even fill it in these edges if it will allow, so boom, there we go. And so now we have our little bit to, you know, pull the foot. Once it gets pulled up here, this will be able to turn in. Now, it's not going to turn in tons, and maybe I should have put it at a steeper angle, but I think it's okay. I will show you the effect by hitting rotate and going, putting our center here again. You can see this will go up to probably about that far. So maybe I should have put this a little more of an extreme angle. Let's just separate it again real quick. Is that a separate object now? It is. Let's just rotate this around. Super easy to adjust. So I just grab it. We're going to rotate it. We're going to change our center again to here, our pivot point. Now I can just push this around to the more extreme angle I was thinking. Just like that. So now we're going to go ahead and put these back together. Done. If we want to chamfer and stuff again, super fast and easy. It's not a long, boring, horrible process at all. In fact, let's chamfer these and not the others. And we're good there. Yep. And then we can fillet these out a little bit, including this maybe. And we'll try this one too. It did not go for that, but that's all right. We'll just do the top. We'll do these little tiny ones here because it will fillet the entire thing, I think, doing that. So there we go. You kind of get a second nature for that kind of thing as you go. And then I'm going to try these guys right here and here like we had before. Just kind of integrate that shape a little better in there. All right, so now, once again, when we grab that dude and rotate it and we make sure that we're snapped to the middle, this will give us that much travel, which I think is a little better for sure. Cool, done. Now we need to make a pin for that and stuff and multiply the legs, but I think right now we need to build something that's going to actually make this action happen. And this could be some kind of, what do you call it, geared post. I think that'd be kind of cool there. I can come up with a billion ideas, but I think that will be fine. I'm going to make just a couple of lines here. I'm going to make this longer than I need probably. Something like that. Probably like so. So I say, you know, why not? Something that keeps it parallel, keeps it at our angle. I'm going to get rid of that particular point. I'm going to grab this now, sort of move this, move it over into here. I'm going to grab the end here as well, right in the center of this little line, and try to snap that into the center of our circle. You're like, well, why would you do that? Well, so that I can add a circle to the end of it. That perfectly lines up with our own circle there. Let me undo this. That needs to be a bit wider, so I'm just going to grab one of the lines, maybe the points instead. I think is going to be fine. Grab both these points, scale those out by their own. So let's grab them all. I'm going to grab all 4 points, like so. I guess that one too. We don't need it. Might as well get rid of it. Let's just delete it for now. Grab these, and we're going to scale it, but we need to scale it not from the center and not in the direction. We're going to go and we're going to select this. So now I can scale it out that way some, And then I can do the same thing the other way by going V and going from this side, pulling it this way. Cool. So now we have that, and it's parallel, and so on. Now I don't know if these angles are 100% 90 degree, but I'm not worried about it. It's not going to make a difference to us later. So what my point is here, let me just get this rounded on the end so that we have a way to run a post through it. In fact, I'm going to make this one a bit larger. I think that would be kind of cool, so that you can see the outside edge of that. I'm going to make sure these are on the same plane. Grab this and just snap to the curve. There we go. I'm going to get rid of the internals for now. Do not want or need them. And then I am going to, now this might be kind of cool if we did these as two on the outside of this. Yeah. Because I don't want to make this part really any smaller or even more delicate. We could do just one actually too, now that I think about it. But that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something kind of cooler than that. Just realized it. So with that, I'm going to grab this whole piece. We're going to extrude it out a bit like this. I'm going to get rid of the curves. And I'm going to duplicate that piece for now. From here, Alt X, we're going to just flip it this way. And now with those, I think I'm going to try and do something kind of cool with it. I mean, I like the double. It's kind of cool, but it feels almost too mechanically. And because I had a different idea for how that works anyway. So I'm going to make another circle. This one's going to be a cutting circle. And I'm going to grab both these parts because they're from around these parts. And I'll look from this end. I'm going to cut it with this circle so that we have, these two separate bits. I'm going to delete one of them. I'm going to take the other one. This ought to be interesting, if nothing else. I'm going to pull this piece over to the center. Just kind of find that center there. And we're going to, I think I'm going to shorten that face somewhat. And I'm going to duplicate this circle here, I think. Seems like the right thing to do for this. And we're going to scale that one up till we get to, see, I don't understand why scaling doesn't work this way. You can't snap that scale. Bugs me. Unless I'm missing something. So we're going to snap it to about there. You can always make this smaller, quick and easy. And with that, I'm going to make a section of this that keeps this cool edge, but is going to be able to mount to here and to here. We'll see. We'll see if I can do this the way I was planning on, but I'm going to go a line from here, parallel down, another one from here, parallel down, and I just use these as like construction lines. Okay, so those do that. And now these are going to cut this curve. So I'm going to say, go into my cut curve here, and we're going to say cut with this and this, right click. Now we have these separate pieces, which I do believe that's what I wanted. Get rid of the bits that I don't. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, those need to be moved forward. So we're going to grab those curves and I'm going to snap them to the same place the others are, like that. And now we can take just this piece and do this number with it for now. Let me find the best place for that. I think that's where I want that. And that should be raised up enough there to work. I'm going to take now, before we're done, I'm going to get rid of these curves here. Before I'm done, I'm going to take this curve now, scale it up a little bit, like this. And I'm going to move it to somewhere, well, maybe about there. We're going to look from the side. I'm sorry, from the front. It didn't matter where I moved that curve, I just realized. I'm going to select this object here that we just made. We're going to take this curve, we're going to cut it with that. And now I can get rid of the curve. That curve anyway, I think. And before I do, maybe I can cut it with a curve. Does that work? That will not. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to get rid of that curve. And so we have this piece like so. And now we're going to push this face over. I'm going to join these parts here and here and here. Actually, I'm going to join these parts. There we go. And probably this one too. We can mirror this one, obviously. But until then, let's go ahead and make sure this feels more planned, more appropriate. Maybe just a what? To here. Like maybe like that. I think that works for the moment. And of course, these will get the little bevels. And this now, this particular object will get mirrored. So Alt X. And we're going to go, I'm sorry, Alt X. I did a Control X. Good thing I didn't delete anything, I hope. And we're going to go like so, make sure they're unioned, and we've got this guy. And that's going to be like our little control rod that pushes that piece up and down. These will be joined. And then we need a hole that runs through both sides. I really hope I'm not boring any of you guys watching. Anybody who's here, I could care less. Kidding. Okay, so now I'm going to make a hole that runs through this. I'm just going to grab the curve, pull this outward, and now we're going to grab the face. We're going to select the object here. So W, select the object, pull this straight through, right click, and that's good to go. Get rid of my curve. Kind of look from the side here and fillet some of these guys, or chamfer them, I should say. Yeah. Quite a few of these surfaces will need that. So we're going to chamfer this one for sure, and this one. Looking good. These will probably need a little fillet on them. Just a small one to catch the light. And then this and this. And I'm doing these kind of in stages because these will have different size fillets on them, given their relative size probably. And I say probably because it doesn't necessarily mean that's 1000% true. I'm going to grab this guy and this little one here and make sure we can do this okay. Looks good. This will also need to be done on the front. If you guys are having any trouble using Plasticity, you can get a hold of me. I will be open to being paid to tutor you. Just let me know if you need help. A personal one-on-one tutoring I have done, and I don't mind doing for you. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. That looks pretty good. We need the pin that we're going to put in there, whatever that's going to be. Probably just a regular old round, you know, like a rivet type pin. I'm not going to worry about anything on the inside. It does not need a shaft at this point, I don't think. I'm going to grab that though and put this in here to at least the other depth, which it's not letting me do for some reason. There we go, and right click to accept. I'm going to go ahead and extrude this face out now to make our little rivet head. That will come out a little farther than the regular edge of that. Don't want those to be flush. It'll look kind of wrong. And something like that will be perfect. You could even fillet this edge slightly if you wanted to on both sides, just to make it a little softer, cleaner. It will add to your poly count, but you know, if you're not worried about it, then don't be worried about it. All right, Alt X, and we'll flip that one to here and be good. Cool. So there we are on the mechanic of the toe, at least partly. Rigging this is going to be interesting. They will require bones and things bound to bones and so forth. I won't be doing a simulation. Okay, so now, with whatever's going to be happening here, there needs to be kind of a geared teeth situation, in my opinion. Don't know how far it needs. So I'm going to fake it to some degree. And we're going to use our lovely rectangular array to kind of make this happen. I'm just going to make a small kind of tooth of a gear right here. I'm going to go ahead and give that a bottom as well. So we have a complete kind of tooth happening there. We can do this as the face or an object. I'm going to use the object, I think, this time to do this with. It'll probably be less problematic. And plus, I don't have to worry about certain things with it, but I think it'll be fine. We're just going to snag this all the way across to that side, get rid of the curves. And that, whoops, not the object though. It's probably better, but we don't do that. And once those are done, we can come in and just fillet this little top curve a tiny bit, just enough to feel more real. Okay, with these curves done, gone. I can take that object. We're going to do a rectangular array. I'm just going to go all the way to the end. No one's going to know. No one's going to see. It doesn't matter. So we're going to rectangular array all the way to this end. I don't know why that's not cooperating, but let's try it from the side. There we go. Right to the end-ish. Huh? Something like that. And then I'm going to increase the number to where these look like, gear teeth. We'll say, okay, that's good to go. I'm going to select them and this, double click everything and make it one beautiful gear piece there. What do you guys think of that? I think that's pretty cool. This I can turn, to make it match whatever geared situation we've got going on, which is nice. So I'm just going to kind of come here like this and going to rotate. And I'm going to put that rotation point here temporarily. That way this can be at whatever level, etc. it needs to be. So there you go. That's coming along pretty well. Remember, this is just one leg. So we need something else to drive a gear. I don't think it's a worm gear, which it could be, but that'd be kind of maybe difficult to animate. I'm going to go with the standard round gear here. And I'm almost thinking, though, they should be driven by cable. But, I mean, in the real world, I would do that. But I think it's cool that they're not. So we're just going to, about through here, something along these lines like that. We'll make a gear. Let's grab it and move it more centrally located to, or at least the edge of this. And I'm going to see if I make the whole gear in the sketch before I do anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this, give it a center pin. You know what? I'm going to hide this body piece, hide the body right here. And we're going to come in with the circle tool. Just draw another circle. This is where a pin is going to be going through. Should be a good size, This is going to be where the little ridge for the gear itself is going to be. And if we want to, this would be kind of cool. Let's make something cool happen here. I'm just going to make a curve. I mean, I think that's okay. I'm going to mirror this over. Now, this would be a cool lesson for you guys to learn. I'm going to grab that curve. I'm going to Alt-exit over. And let's use V to say from where. Oh, F, I'm sorry. I was like, why isn't this working? So F will come from here. And we're going to have it just like so. I'm going to grab a spline curve and go from here to, approximately a midpoint. But you know what? Let me make a midpoint. This is how that's done. It's good to make these construction lines. Now I have a midpoint. So I'm going to grab this spline curve, go from about here to, I don't know, maybe here, and to a tangent place-ish there that's similar on the other side. If I have to, I can smooth those out. And then I'm going to create, let's say, let's just make a straight line now. I'm just going to base this off of the center like that. Make another one based off of the center like that, or it hits tangent. So that works. And what that is going to do is allow me to set up the next great feat, which I think I'm gonna get rid of this upper line. I just realized something that was stupid of me to do. This will go away. And then I'm going to create another circle that will come out and perfectly snap right there. And another circle that will come from the center and snap perfectly about there. And then I'm going to make a couple more circles here. And these are going to be, well, tangent arcs. Let's do tangent arcs, or at least tangent circles. That can come, that doesn't work like that, Sean. That can come from, let's do our 3-point arc. Approximately here. Not a 3-point arc, yeah, boo. Hang on. Tangent arc. Tangent arc. So we're going to go with a tangent arc. Basically from here, you can tab that to, okay, hang on. I have to go from the top, from this place. What in the world? Why? Escape. I'm going to try this again. There should be a way that you can come from the bottom. Why is this not flipping around for me? I've never seen it do that. Can't you change the direction? Thought tab would do it. Maybe alt, control. Interesting. Why can't I do that? Well, alt, control, shift. You'd think shift would be the one. How about tab, shift, alt. See, shift puts it on the right plane, so not sure. And then this one does not want to do it either. Interesting. Might have to do that after the fact. I'm going to try and do this tangent circle. That is exactly what I want. So good. So another, we're going to actually mirror this one over. So there we go. And we're going to go Alt X of that one. We're going to go F so we can do it from this point. And there we go. Now, if these are all on the same plane, which they should be, there's so little work left to do. And that isn't 1,000% true, but it's not far off. So I'm going to go in here with our little snippy tool, get rid of inside curves we don't need, outside curves that we don't need. That's fine for these. That will all come back shortly if needed. And cool. And then we can get rid of even this. And even this. This and this. And these. It's amazing, folks. It's amazing. Look at that. That shape could never be made easily any other way. And then I'm going to grab the curves. Pardon my enthusiasm. And I'm going to take all of these guys. I'm going to join them up together, which they won't, of course. But I'm going to radial array these now around the center and decide how much of actual space between we want. I kind of like that look, so we're going to go for that. And now here's the part where you're blown away. Because all we got to do is grab the parts we want, push them out. I think I might make that slightly thinner, depending on how thick. I think that's perfect. The only thing we didn't do was the gears, or the teeth. So let's just back this up to here and add our gear teeth on here now. And then it will be perfect and complete. And it's so easy to do this too. You wouldn't believe it. So with that, all we have to do, once again, is make one of these little triangle teeth. One. Only one. In fact, I'm going to make it based off of this one here. And rotate this around enough to be somewhat correct. Let me just control click this to a center line of some kind. There we go. And then it's close enough. I'm going to grab this and drop it into our part. Probably should shift it over just a little bit, so I'll bet you that is not our center line. In fact, I'm going to make another center line because, well, I deleted the other one, and just see where this is sitting. Now we can perfect this if we want to by grabbing it and moving it over, snapping it to that line. Close enough. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that center line now. And with that, grab it, snap it to the curve where it should be, and there you go. If we wanted to, we could easily get rid of the insides the way we have been. Boom, boom, and these two. But we don't want to do that just yet. Let's just leave this as is. And what I'm going to do is grab this surface. We're going to pull this out to match the thickness here, but let's just grab all of our curves before I get ahead of myself. Grab these curves, I should say. We're going to move those over to snap in line with this, just here on the edge, holding the control key. And now we can grab any of the surfaces, this one and this one, that we want to pull over and snap them to this edge, as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out slightly like so. And then we're going to take that piece and we're going to mirror it over to the side. So Alt X to F to make sure that we are in the center in some fashion. Make sure of that. There we go. Not easy to line that up. Cool. And so that's done. We're going to get rid of all these curves now, except for the triangle. So that one we want to save, but all of these, I'm just going to come up and delete. And then that one at the top, we're going to use the radial array on again. But before we do it, we're going to extrude that piece out as its own piece right to the edge of that dude. Done. Get rid of the curve. We're going to grab that part. We're going to look from the front. And I am just going to radial array this guy. And then we can just turn up the amount we want. Something kind of like that. Even a little less maybe. Just to make it look a little more like the other. We will accept that. We will select this one now. We will select this one now. And this one. We'll QQ. Right click. It is now one piece. We can go in and shape to our heart's content everything we want. So I probably should have done these teeth right before. So let's go back. Let's go back. And on this one edge, we'll give that a little bit of a fillet. I was going to say buffet or buffet. And we're going to radial array these again. Settings should be still good to go. So let's just put it in the center. Right click, good to go. Select, select, shift select all of those. QQ, right click, and now we have a finished gear. Just a matter of shaping this out how we want in any particular way. I'm just going to grab these curves to the insides. We'll do this on both sides of this gear. We're just getting, one inner curve is all we need to do. And then we can just pull that a little. It just makes the gear look a little nicer, And it's calculating. I don't know what I did wrong to make it take this amount of time. Hopefully it won't crash. But cool. It did not work, so we'll have to do those one at a time, which we will do at a later time. I'm going to grab this dude and just pull that one very slightly. We are going to chamfer these like so. And I guess round this one slightly as well. Just a tiny bit. It's a very tiny gear anyway. But yeah, we can take some of these, I think, and make them work. Very tiny, tiny fillet there. And if one of these is wrong, then it will definitely let us know, but they should work. Perfect. And there's one I missed right down here. So we'll just do it as well. Make sure it's a fillet, not a chamfer. And I believe I made a chamfer. So we'll go the other way. Not that big. Come on. My mouse is not playing nice with me. Let me undo. Let me just kind of come here a little farther out. Hold my control key. Not working. So we're going to undo it. And now I'm going to try again. And I don't know why it's so sensitive at this particular angle, but that is not easy and good right there. Okay, let's try this side here real quick. Hopefully we'll have more luck than we did earlier. That would be 5 of them. I'm going to go ahead and try all 5 of those. Pull outward. Good to go. And now these remaining ones. Make sure you're always going away for fillets. And I think that's good. I'm not going to worry about this outside edges yet. I think that is pretty good. Let's turn on other parts and see where we are at. This gear is going to have to move over now to make sure our actual parts line up here. So that's looking pretty good. It's not 1000% perfect, but it will be perfect enough for animation. Never see that mismatch there. And we could always scale the gear up if we really need to. So let's even try to do that. I'm just going to put this in a better position, a little more centered, and then maybe scale it up slightly. So I believe that is the direction we want to go. Grab that, move it back. to make sure these mesh a little bit better. All right, I think that will be fine. Cool, and it looks great. So now I'm going to make a little pin that goes in the center of that. Don't know what it's attaching to yet or where it's going, but we don't need to know that just yet. Center circle. I'm going to turn off the leg because I don't know if that's what I'm actually selecting or not. So I'm going to just come here, hide that piece, grab our center circle, come out to here. We will grab that and move it out. Like I said, I don't know exactly where this is going yet, but for the moment, it will go where I tell it. All right, so there we go. Let's just turn this other piece on because I know it doesn't want to be piece off. Not funny. Okay, so with that, how much farther? We might need to, nothing. We're going to need to make take a chunk out of this area to allow for that gear to be there. And we're going to select the face here and just move this in till it gets to, somewhere it needs to be. I'll probably go ahead and pull this one farther out because this will wind up being attached to something else anyway that I will sort out eventually here. All right, get rid of the circle. And I think we are looking pretty good. This part of this right here will be covered, so we'll never have to see that go in and out of that area. And we won't be able to tell what's holding it together or not, and so on, just to make it a little more mysterious and more possible that it actually works. We hope. But if this were to roll around and this were to move up because of it, this toe would bend this direction because of that. So it is correctly made. It's just a matter of, will it look like it is? I think it's kind of cool myself, pretty much so far. And I'm thinking of scooping out this area for our gear. Definitely on that inside area would probably be the case. So, how am I going to go and do that? Which way do I want to do that? So I think my blood sugar is super low. Gonna have to grab something to eat here shortly. So I'm just gonna go here, here, to here for now. And I'm going to cut also from that point out. I'm going to go from this point out as well. I'm going to go ahead and put these curves together just to make sure they recognize each other as one thing. I'm going to cut this main object using that curve, which will not let me do so. So I'm going to move that curve a little bit inward because I know that's probably what it is. It's just a tiny bit over one of these lines that it shouldn't be. Let's go from the front here again. Grab that, and I'm gonna change my move angle to here. Just needs a little bit of a chop. This will all go back together shortly. So we're gonna grab this, cut using this. Okay, good. And with that, I'm gonna remove that curve so it doesn't get in our way. And I realize I'm probably talking all softer and not loud enough, but anyway, you get the idea. Here I am going to take this face specifically and try to push these in. Let's see how far I can get these to go. If I can get that to clear that gear, then, cool. If not, it's also cool. Nope, that does not want to go. This by itself probably won't go any more than I have it. Nope. Okay, so then probably going to delete these faces, repatch them. Can't dissolve, so those will get, is it Shift X to remove? And it's nice because there is still a face there, so that works for me. And with that, yeah, I think that's working pretty okay. Not sure exactly where that face. I guess it was just an interface that came with it. Oh, it's the back of that one. Cool. I guess that's that. It looks good. It looks right. That very well may not be, but it does work. I mean, it's not perfect. I can see it isn't, but it works, and no one will notice that but me. I'm thinking also of coming in and somehow from in here trying to, come on, go in there. It's not going to go. Be inside of there. Maybe pushing sideways will do it. It just does. I hate that does that scaling. It's horrible. Yeah. All right. So either way, I wanted to push this face, not that one, but the underneath side of that face. Oh, you know what? I could probably hide the other since it's separated right now. Hide this. Nope. Well, maybe I can see it. I was going to take that inner face, which I think, yeah, it's hollow, so we didn't want that like that. But we do somehow, if I could, want to create a face that is filled. So let's try to use the Shift J, and it will not patch that. Okay. It doesn't matter. We're never going to see it. And I'm not 3D printing it that I know of, which, am I though? Welcome to Sean's life. Let's not undo. Let's not delete that face after all. Let me figure out the better way to do it. Okay, so the face is deleted. I want to not delete this face there. And I am going to, I guess, drill that out. And I wonder if I can see this okay. Because right now that comes up to there. We do not want that. So what Sean's going to do is just go from here. I'm not going to use the line tool either. We're going to use a curve. And I'm going to go from here like so. Make kind of a thin wall here. And that piece is going to cut this piece. Why I did that, I'm not really sure just yet. And then from here in the front, I'm going to cut this guy. with the straight line from here to here. Both sides. This is where we pray that we've done it right. And I'm gonna put all this back together, but I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna cut using U and U, and then I'm gonna delete that piece that we don't want. And get rid of our curves, hopefully. And I'm gonna take this piece, and this piece, put those back together, and this piece and that piece, and put those back together. And everything is now as it should be. As you can see on the inside, we've cleared the gear. Everything, I believe, is closed up and looks much better. Now, we did lose that fillet along there, but I don't care about that right now. Excellent. And it's a little strange there, but no one's going to know. No one's going to care. Perfect. So I'm going to wind up putting like a little hub, something here for that to go into. There'll be a motor, or there'll be something that drives this gear. And also I need some type of shroud that kind of covers over this end. I don't know what it's going to look like. No idea, but I figure let's just make a box to start with, and then I'll figure it out. Maybe it's rounded, but this has to be able to move past. This can be cut short though. Just realize that. Let's just grab a line like so. It can be shorter anyway. And we're going to go with C and hit that and right click and delete everything. So now that's about the extreme we really want that to go. It can go more. It can also come back and we still have some room cleared. Just got to make sure that it's the right amount and looks good. So I'm going to start with a just a box here to start with. There should be some kind of box here anyway, because we have to put a motor, something in here, lines that pull, something, you know what I mean? So something will be doing this work. I'm going to go to the side here, pull this farther over for now, figure out just how wide that really should be. Looking at it from the end, it's going to push this maybe a bit like so. It's just a shroud, so it doesn't need to be as thick as the leg. And I think what I'm going to do is just pull this piece out for starters. We will worry about the edges and rounding in a bit, but for now, it's going to pull this out, snap it to this outside curve there. Get rid of that curve for now. Just kind of figure out, where how this box needs to look. I'm going to make a box to start with. We're not going to duplicate that. We're just going to, did I duplicate it? I did. So let's just Alt X this. Just flip it from here. Kind of figure out if that's going to look bad or not. I think it'll be fine once I figure the shape of it out. Don't even try me, cat. So I've got a cat that attacks me if another cat runs by. So bought a water bottle to protect myself. Go lay down. Okay. So anyway, that's what I'm currently doing. Just protecting myself here. And cool. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I appreciate you watching. Have a good one. Take it easy. I'll have updates on this guy soon.